Surprise!
Surprise, we're live on a Tuesday.
This happens every time. I'm trying to pull up the comments, but it's not working yet, so I don't know how to
All right. It happens when we go out of town.
Yeah, we get behind. We do have a video going up tomorrow, which we filmed today at our shop. We showed us reorganizing and showed some of our vines redone and how we just made everything work. So that was kind of fun. And then we have a video coming up on brush care because we get asked out about that a lot. So that's coming up this week. And then on Saturday, we will be going live Saturday night with Debbie from Debbie's DIY.
Yes, and we're doing a grand opening there in Fallbrook, California.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
What's the name of that shop? I can never remember the name of the shop. I'm the worst.
Oh my goodness, that's because I signed all the paperwork. Vintage Retail Therapy with Mara. So look up Vintage Retail Therapy on Facebook. She's been showing lots of sneak peeks of the shop. It's looking really good. We're going to be out there on Saturday from 10 to 2 for the grand opening, and then we'll pop back over to San Diego and spend some time with Debbie Saturday night. And we'll come live with you guys.
So Jamie's going to, as the title says, we did these in the live the other night, and Jamie's going to show you how she distresses them and then seals them, because after the live we got a slew of questions, so we're like, we'll leave them and we'll do a follow-up video. And then this, since we're so crunched on time, this is going to be our paint display at the new shop. We got to haul this to California. I got 2 of them, and planks go across. I've got 6.5 foot. Watch out! Watch out! I got 6.5 foot planks that go across here. They're live edge, and it's all going to get painted white. But I'm going to stain it first so that that dark wood comes through instead of this light color. Because if you paint white over this, distress it, it's so light there's not much contrast. So we're going with the #1 real stain, and I'm gonna get going because I got a lot to do.
So I found this display on Pinterest, and since we're taking the display in the car along with our children, this is great because it folds up flat and we can tie it to the roof rack. So I'm gonna get started. If you watched our live the other night, I'm gonna give you a little recap. This was painted with Sweet Pigot's Milk Paint and Moody Blue. Sorry, there's kids screaming in the background. With extra bond in it, so that way it would attach to the glass. This was painted with Sea Glass by Fairy Chalk Mother, which is paint that's on sale right now, $24 a quart. This is painted with DIY paint in Petticoat Pink. And then this one, you didn't see me do this technique. I kept painting it till I liked it. I used Flour Sack, what was the other color I used? Was it Apothecary?
Yeah, Apothecary.
No, Farm Fresh.
Oh, Farm Fresh. They're really close to each other.
Farm Fresh, White Swan, and the Golden Ticket.
The Golden Ticket's underneath. It's hiding.
Yeah, well, you can see the little brown streaks. It's actually metallic gold. And we are officially sold out of the Golden Ticket again. So I'll let you guys know as soon as we get that back in stock. And I did kind of a boho finish with water. I don't know, can you guys see that? It turned out really cool. So I'm going to get to the distressing. And just in case you didn't watch that live, I just wanted you to know what they were painted with. All of those paints you can get at jamirayvintage.com. So I said on my live that you don't want to sand like with sandpaper. And what I really meant was you don't want to sand like with your orbital sander. You can hand sand it with paper, which is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to go ahead and do some smoothing out with the sandpaper, and then I'm going to do a little bit of wet distressing as well. Let me just make sure. You looked for milk paint at Hobby Lobby. They actually, some places carry what they call milk paint, but the true milk paint comes in a powdered form, and they don't carry that at Hobby Lobby. Sorry. But there are retailers nationwide. You can order from our website for Sweet Pickins. So there is some ways to access that. Amy, I can't wait to see. Oh, Amy's coming to the shop in California July 14th, so I won't be there, but Mara will be there, and our paint display will be there, and maybe some of my painted furniture if it hasn't sold by then. Let's see. April says she's supposed to be writing a paper for grad school, but would rather watch us.
Well, you know, you got these hard decisions in life sometimes.
Yeah, the same thing happens.
What are you going to grad school for? Is it fun?
How long is your sale on Fairy Chalk Mother? It ends this Saturday, the 23rd at midnight. And if you're local, it also goes on in the store, and I have a pretty good selection at the store. If there's anything missing, we can always order it in for you. Zeb is, somebody just asked what he's painting. He is using Real Stain number 1, which is an all-natural, no VOC milk stain made by Fairy Chalk Mother.
Got my Palm Pro that I'm putting it on with. I was going to brush it, or I was going to use the cloth. Hold on.
Sorry.
I was going to use a cloth to just put it on like an old rag, but I left the wood pretty rustic. This is just milled wood. It's still got all the mill marks and things, and it's been sitting in the backyard, so it's kind of splintery, which I'm going to knock all that off when I sand it and distress it once I have the milk paint on here. But right now,
Jackie, we're live.
I'm putting it on with the brush.
All Teen Titans.
Okay, tell Adelia to turn Teen Titans back on.
All right, say hi, and then you got to go to bed.
I don't want to bed.
Go watch Teen Titans.
I don't want to bed.
Sorry, it's a little wily around here. So this is going to be our paint display. It's going to have boards in it. I'll try to put a picture in community to show you guys. And for sure, I will be live on Facebook on Saturday showing the display. Maybe even Friday. We'll see. Anyways, all right. So I'm just using 220 sandpaper, and I'm just going to go ahead and give this a sand, smooth it off, knock off any high spots, and then I'm going to wet distress these. Let's see if I've got any questions here. Keisha got her order yesterday. Yay! All right, let's see. Yes, in Fallbrook we'll have DIY paint and Sweet Pickins. Eventually we'll have probably Fairy Chalk Mother as well, but we're just starting out with those 2 lines for now. All right, I guess this is boring for me to stand this because I can't talk.
You just got to get after it.
I'm going. Just smoothing it out.
I see.
All right. There's still like some. Okay. All right, now that I did that, I'm just going to use water. Water might activate this and make it chippy, so we'll find out what's going to happen to it. Google, okay, so somebody said that they tried to access our website and it said, Google said that there might be viruses. What is it, if it has the www or doesn't have the www?
Yeah, if it has the www in the link, some of my old links are not, it just gives you that warning if you don't use the HTTPS or whatever it is.
The full link. So just
There's
Google.
nothing, the website's plenty safe. We haven't had any issues ever.
It's through Shopify, which is this huge like worldwide browser, but just go to Google, type in Jami Ray Vintage and go through that link. And hopefully it should solve that problem. It has nothing to do with our website and everything to do with how it gets put into the web browser, and somehow it just pops up like that. So if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I'm just wet distressing and taking off some of the paint, and it's also smoothing my paint and getting rid of all the dust because I'm going to seal it. And this I'm not going to go super chippy, although I'm putting water over the top of Extra Bond, so it could get pretty chippy. We'll see. All right, that one's good. Okay, this one is the one with Fairy Chalk Mother, and I'm just gonna try to wet distress it there. The problem is it's been sitting for a while, and the longer it sits, the harder it is to wet distress. So maybe I'm gonna have to use sandpaper. There we go. And all I'm doing is just bringing out the detail that's on the bottle. Can you guys see that? I probably wouldn't wax these, but you could use like glaze over the top of the sealer if you wanted to.
So here's the hook for Saturday. If you want to see this display all finished, because I'm not going to finish it until the wee hours of the morning today, you'll have to watch Saturday.
Well, Saturday we're going to go live at Debbie's, so this will be there.
Well, we'll show them it. We're not going live at the shop there at all?
Not on YouTube, on Facebook we will.
Well, I will film it and I will show you guys.
No, don't put these in the dishwasher. That's not, just once we seal it, then you can spot clean it, but you don't want to put it in a dishwasher. Somebody asked if there's a price break on shipping. I pretty much charge exactly what they charge me, so there's not, because the more you buy, the more it costs me to ship. Paint's heavy, unfortunately. Do I sand everything I paint before sealing, or do I only sand when distressing? I only sand when I distress, and I always distress everything. So I guess I do sand everything. What is the sale? The sale is Fairy Chalk Mother, which is this color here, paint. which this one's sea glass. It's $24 a quart instead of $30, which is the regular price. And you don't need a coat or coat.
You don't need a code.
Can you tell I'm tired? You don't need a code. It's already in the computer. All right, Zeb, you gotta talk to the people.
So the nice thing about this is that this stain, this real stain, is going to dry in about 15 minutes, whereas a traditional stain, I wouldn't be able to paint it until the morning at the earliest. So this will be dry before I even get done doing this other one, and then I can go paint this. And I don't expect to be up too late. I'll probably break out the critter and spray this in about 15 or 20 minutes. But I really love that about the real stain. And if you want it darker, once it's dry, you just go back over it again and it darkens up even more. The only catch is, occasionally when you're using it, because it's like a milk stain, is that what it is?
It's a milk stain, so sometimes
You gotta mix it up because
settles.
the pigments will settle while you're using it sometimes too. So.
All right, so here's my distressed fairy chalk mother bottle. Can you guys see all that? I feel like you need to move a light over here. So I can-
Maybe. I'll be right back.
This one, I'm actually just going to wipe down with a damp rag. I'm just using warm water to wet distress these. It actually works better if you don't wait like 3 days
Here, I
to
can
wet
move
distress,
close.
because the longer you wait, the harder the paint gets and it's harder to wet distress.
So you'll just have to hold your stuff up and show them what you're doing.
Okay, I will. So I'm just gonna go over this and smooth it out. It's pretty smooth because I used water to get this boho effect here. I used Farm Fresh, White Swan, and the Golden Ticket. All right, there's that. And I just used water to smooth it out. I'm not gonna really distress this one much. That one's hard to tell on camera, but it's really pretty. Last one, but not least, this is Petticoat Pink. I wish you could see it in real life. The thing about DIY paint is it's clay-based, so it's thicker, so you get a lot more texture in your paint. Where it's fairy chalk mother is like self-leveling. It's not quite as matte, but it does require a sealer. Can you see the difference between the two of that? I ask this all the time, so it's really just preference, like one's not better than the other. And then here, this has a little bit of sheen because it had so much extra bond in it, but it's pretty matte. And you can't see, I mean, you really cannot see brush strokes on this. The milk paint is probably one of the best after you distress it for completely getting rid of brush strokes. At least that's my opinion. All right, I'm gonna sand this.
All right, watch behind you here.
Oh, we're not dancing?
Not yet. We'll dance tomorrow after we're on the road.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
It's always last minute
What's your,
around here.
I'll read the comments later. I need your best advice for traveling with children. Mine is I like to take sleeping meds because Zeb drives, and I put earplugs in. I was raised all by myself. Zeb had 5 younger siblings. He's much better equipped to handle the screaming children.
They don't necessarily scream. They just want things while we're driving. And then they scream after that.
Yeah.
Once they realize that, no, we're not going to stop, and yes, we still have 6 more hours in the car.
Yeah. Jack doesn't quite understand that. And you know, when I was a kid, you played, what did you play in the car? You played I Spy.
Yeah.
You would see the different, what's it called? Clouds, and guess what they were? And our kids all have electronic devices and a TV, and our new car has Wi-Fi in it. They don't understand the struggle of the car rides when you had, you know, crayons and some I Spy going on. Why don't I paint the bottoms of my smalls? You mean that? I don't know, Les. Maybe I will later because you told me to. I'll say Les said so. I'll paint the bottom.
Mostly because we mostly just paint what you see. If you're going to see it all the time, we'd paint it for sure.
How do you when to shellac wood? I think that how do you know when to shellac wood furniture before you paint it with DIY White Swan? If you paint enough furniture, you kind of know what's going to bleed. Older furniture almost always has bleed through.
Anywhere there's a scratch or a scrape.
Yeah. A lot of times when the original varnish is gone, you can see the scratches and stuff. It always bleeds through. So you just kind of like over time, when you painted a few thousand pieces, you get to know it. But really, it's if it's old and the original varnish is gone. Anything mahogany or cherry, forget it. Might as well paint it black. I'm just kidding. If you're gonna paint it white and it's mahogany or cherry, just be prepared for bleed through. Lots of snacks and their own iPads. Well, they all have either a phone or Kindles, so that counts for that. Well, we're taking the Suburban, which is our older car, so Zeb won't freak out. We took the Dodge, which is our newer car that we just bought like a month ago, and he freaked out our last road trip because the kids were getting crumbs everywhere.
I don't know if freaked out is the right word.
Drive at night while the kids are sleeping.
Oh, that's
We're
good.
too old for that.
That's good, but then I also want to sleep.
We're too old for that. Does DIY paint need to be sealed? Yes, all this paint needs to be sealed, and I'm going to get to that here in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and wet distress the rest of this. Smooth out my brush strokes and remove any sanding dust. This is just a lint-free rag. I order them in 50 packs off of Amazon. Like, they're really inexpensive. We go through a lot of them. We use them for household rags for work. There's really no differentiating anything here. Okay, so I've done all the distressing on all these. I'm going to start with the one I did first because it's dry, and I'm just going to seal it. So yeah, all of this has to be sealed. Somebody asked if you could use wax. I don't know. I've never used, Zeb, I need your muscles. I've never used wax before. When I'm sealing something that's either like porcelain or glass, I always use a liquid top coat, which is like
Had to get after that one.
Sweet Pickens top coat. I'm using Big Top. DIY also makes liquid patina you could use, or you could use Minwax polyacrylic. Jamie says she loves the ladder.
Oh,
The nice thing about these ladders is this is all wood from the backyard.
Depending on how we like this, we may, if there's enough interest, I could do like a little quick build on how to do this. It's really easy. I have 4 hinges up here, cut some angles, and then rungs. So it would be pretty
You know
simple.
everybody's going to want to see it. I'm using my Wooster foam brush. I ordered these on Amazon. If you're local, I just dropped off a few to the shop because I have them on auto ship and have more than I can use, so I put a few in the shop. And this will make it not so you can dishwasher it or submerge in water, but you definitely can wipe this down with water if it gets dirty or dusted. Most of the time, I don't know about you, I don't wash my vases in the dishwasher. I just spot wash them. Spot clean, is that what it's called, spot clean?
I think the most they get is really a light dusting with a damp cloth.
Well, shh, don't tell people.
Back here hiding.
You're back there hiding.
I can't
Oh,
see.
sorry. Do the wax and the sealers I use, if you use Minwax polyacrylic, you will. The waxes I use do have a smell, but it's natural, so it's not like a chemical smell. The Sweet Pickens one actually smells really good.
It's probably my favorite. I always want to burn it like a candle. It smells so good.
I feel like it takes a little while longer to set up. The Sweet Pickens, the
Sweet
beeswax.
Pickens does.
DIY, it just smells good. And then this actually doesn't really have much of a smell at all. It's salt, no solvents, VOC, all natural. So it's not like the kind that you would buy like at the hardware store that's going to be kind of chemically smelling. It's not going to cause asthma attacks or anything. All right, let's see. Trying to find backdrops for your new booth. I love, love, love old doors. Lattice work is always really pretty. I also think it would be really cool to like take a painter's drop cloth and do like a splatter. It depends on your vibe, but if you're going bohemian, wouldn't it be so cool to take a painter's drop cloth, dip the bottom in like watered down paint, almost like a dye, and then splatter paint on it? That would be a really fun backdrop. I've actually thought about doing that for the garage because we're working really hard on getting a filming space in there, but the problem is getting the lighting and everything just right. We're working on it.
We kind of had. Well, these are wobbly.
So Jamie, tell me what your style is, and I'll see if I can come up with any ideas on the fly for backdrops.
We had a little bit of a paint booth for a minute there, but it's full. We emptied the trailer out, and the garage is full.
Well, I have a slight shopping problem, and I'm just gonna do one single coat on these. It's not like they're gonna be like heavily scrubbed and used like a dining table or whatever. Oh, shutters. Renee said shutters. That's a really good idea. I have some on the side of the house. So if you're in Lehi, just stop on by. I'll load them up. Polyacrylic turns your white baskets yellow. Are you sure you used polyacrylic or polyurethane? If polyacrylic turns your white baskets yellow, there could be a couple of things. One, you could have put it on too thick, and two, it could be bleed through. And bleed through actually happens no matter what kind of liquid sealer, and you have to use shellac it, repaint it, and reseal it. But polyacrylic should not turn your stuff yellow.
Yeah, if anything, it'll turn it white if it's too thick.
Oh, farmhouse antique-ish on the cheap. So either use what you have by way of salvage, or the drop cloth idea is really cool. You can take and buy those little clips at Walmart, like the curtain clips, and you could hang it across that way. And I saw it at Anthropology first, where they took and dip-dyed the bottoms and did some splatter. So if it's good enough for Anthropology, it's probably a good idea. If you use my idea, send me a picture because I want to see. I have actual like a room in a house for my shop, so I don't have a booth backdrop, so I haven't played around with anything like that. Just joining what's going on with the ladders. These ladders are going to be our paint display. I'm so tired. Paint display for our Fallbrook, California store. Well, not our store, but our retail space. There we go. And we're going to put boards across it and display paint on them. Oh, Real Housewife says she's seen palettes. I've seen that too. That looks really good. Oh, IOD stamps on the curtain would be pretty too. I'm not a super good stamper, disclaimer. I stamp about as well as I stencil, but I'm working on it.
Your stenciling's just fine. You just distress it at the end and it's alright.
The problem is, it's a little hard to work and be live and talk and monitor comments all at the same time. And make sure that children don't come in. That's usually what's happening on my live videos. There's a lot going on. I'm going to show you guys this. Hopefully it'll dry pretty quickly because this one is super pretty now that I've sealed it. This one that I did the drippy boho finish on. Alright. Last but not least, the pink one. Alright. Yeah, I use Pinterest a lot. That's how I came up with this paint display. I just literally went on Pinterest and typed in boutique paint display.
And then she sent it to me and she said, Zeb, build this.
Hey,
it's not even a can you build this anymore. Not because she's not asking. She just
I did ask. I said, how do you feel about this?
She just knows that I can build it, so she's like, hey, we need this.
I knew you could, and I asked if you would, and you said
I
yes.
know.
And I figured it would work because since we're having to take our display with us. I tried to buy like a hutch in California, but I couldn't find anything I wanted.
And we couldn't find anything that would fit in what we have to drive without having to like go through the whole rent a trailer and all that.
Yeah. So this will work. And I actually think it's going to be really cool. And we can kind of adjust the size as needed. All right. These are all sealed. Okay, so these are gonna, I'm not doing any more coats. These are all done. Let's see if I'm gonna move this down so you guys can see it. These are gonna go in the shop. So I hope this inspires you guys to find some glass and give it new life. I will probably hit up the Hobby Lobby at some point and get some greenery for these. They're actually on sale this week, so I don't know. It may be a few weeks before I get some.
When you could always get crazy and tie some burlap on them, or
get crazy.
Or get some.
It's so cute when people tie burlap on them. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera, guys. Well, I'm gonna try. I'm not very good at moving the camera.
Just move the vases up to them. Oh, they're dry.
They're wet. How do you do this, Eb? Do I unscrew this?
I'll come do it. Don't unscrew that.
Okay. Can you tell that Zep's my cameraman? I just need you to poke it down here.
I can't see. Is that showing?
We're gonna. Oh, yeah. There you go. All right, guys. So here's the glass sealed. I know that was kind of an ordeal, but everybody was asking me about it, and I wanted you guys to be able to see what it looks like, all sealed up. This one is a DIY paint that I did like a drippy finish with. This one's milk paint, very chalk mother. DIY paint. You can paint glass with all of them. All right, so we're gonna talk real quickly. I'm gonna talk to you guys about how we're gonna finish these ladders and how we're gonna make the milk paint chip, because that is a question that I get asked all the time. And if you're still with us, you deserve to know how to make raw wood chippy, so lacquer. in the spray can. This is what Sasha uses from Sweet Pickins. If you don't follow her, you should. She's a good friend of mine, and she makes the milk paint that I carry. And what she does is she stains her piece, she sprays it with lacquer, and then she milk paints over it, and then the milk paint will chip. So if you want to know how to make raw wood chip, use spray lacquer. All right, I think that's it. Let's see, Sandy says the boho is her favorite. I actually am torn between this one here and the boho one. I really like this one. You guys you might not be able to tell.
I think
but
it's just because that's a fun bottle.
There, look how, yeah, I think it's more the bottle. I also like the color. I just think if I could find 1 million of these bottles, I would do them because they're so, so cute. All right. Only chips milk paint or DIY as well? So milk paint will chip all on its own. DIY paint will not chip unless you use like an orbital sander or wet distress to get it come off. Milk paint chips a little bit more organically. If you guys want to go on a field trip, I'll show you what milk paint looks like. Hold on, guys.
You need to show them
I'm going to show them my hutch.
Show them real close.
Yeah, so we're going to get real close here. This is my living room, and this is my hutch. It's actually kind of broken right now, but can you guys see? Zeb, this is not sealed. We've never sealed it because I like the way it looks. Zeb, can you poke the light over here? Mm-hmm. So this was an old hutch we found on this, well, my friend found on the side of the road and gave to me. And let's see, there we go. See how chippy that is? It did that all on its own, and it's like a really natural, organic chippy. Anyways, all right. I got a question I'm going to answer real quick, and then we're going to go because somebody said they were confused. I just want to make sure everybody's good.
Then we're going to take off and get to work.
You want to show them a close-up of that while I look up this question?
Oh, sure. There's not much to look at. It's just kind of rough wood.
No, she does not add bond to the paint. On raw wood, she stains it, lacquers it, but when she lacquers it, she's kind of messy with it, meaning that she doesn't make it all the way covered. She just kind of sprays crazy, and then where it's not lacquered, and it's just the raw wood, you know, where she didn't lacquer it super good, it sticks, and where the lacquer's at, then it chips. So hopefully that makes sense. We'll do a video on it when we get back from California.
I don't know how much they can see. Did I even show them those?
Yeah, so get in nice and close so they can see the stain.
I've got this thing hooked to the whole tripod.
Oh, hold on.
Hang on.
He's trying to get in there.
Didn't want to fit between the fridge and the island. So you can see here the mill marks on this, and I left those in there. I didn't sand this before I stained it. It took a little more stain because I didn't sand it and it was pretty rustic. But when I paint it and sand that off, those high spots are going to jump out and give it a really awesome aged look.
All right, so somebody said to explain it one more time. So raw wood, you stain it, you spray it with lacquer, right there, and you do kind of a messy spray on the lacquer job. You don't want it completely covered and the whole thing super shiny. Then when that dries, you just paint that with milk paint, and it'll chip where the lacquer is, and where the lacquer's not as thick, it'll like hold to the wood and you'll get a really good chippy look. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, guys. We love you. Be sure to hit the notifications button if you haven't already. I'm sure you're tired of hearing that. Give us a thumbs up. Comment below with your questions about painting glass or chippy milk paint on raw wood. And what do we want to, what else? Oh, go to jamirayvintage.com. That's on my shirt. And subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more.
DIY.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time we see you. We'll be in California.